For decades, a certain white powder has haunted our kitchens and restaurant menus, Ajinomoto or Monosodium Glutamate, better known as MSG. Its very name can spark heated debates at dinner tables and online forums alike. Some people treat it like a forbidden ingredient, while others can't imagine their favorite dishes without it. We've all heard the horror stories. Headaches after Gobi Manchurian, warnings about Chinese salt causing everything from numbness to palpitations. Friends and family swap tales of mysterious symptoms, and the internet is full of cautionary posts. Headlines scream about its dangers, and restaurants proudly display no MSG signs, as if using it is a crime. The fear has become so widespread that it's almost a badge of honor for eateries to claim they're MSG-free. But what if this fear is built on shaky science and misunderstanding? What if the real story is far more nuanced than the urban legends we've come to accept? Today, we're putting MSG on trial, examining the evidence, separating fact from fiction, and challenging the myths that have shaped our perceptions for years. We'll dive into the chemistry, history, and psychology behind the MSG scare. How did a simple seasoning become so controversial? What does science actually say about its effects on our bodies? This fear has real consequences. Home cooks avoid a powerful flavor enhancer, and questioning it feels rebellious. Many people miss out on the umami magic MSG can bring simply because of old rumors and persistent myths. But good science means questioning what we take for granted. It means looking past the hype and asking, where did these fears come from, and do they hold up under scrutiny? So let's act as culinary detectives and get to the bottom of the MSG controversy. We'll sift through the evidence, consult the experts, and see what's really going on behind the scenes. We'll explore the origins of the scare, what food safety experts say, and why you might feel unwell after a big meal, even if MSG isn't to blame. Sometimes the culprit is something else entirely, like overeating or other ingredients. By the end, you'll have knowledge, not just opinion. You'll be able to make informed choices about what goes on your plate, and maybe even challenge a few myths at your next dinner party. It's time to see what this so-called villain really is, beyond the rumors, beyond the fear, and into the facts. Let's unmask the truth about Ajinomoto, once and for all. Let's clear up a big misconception that's been floating around kitchens and dinner tables for years. When people say Ajinomoto, they're usually talking about a white crystalline powder that's added to food. But here's the thing, Ajinomoto is actually a brand name, not the ingredient itself. It's like calling all instant noodles Maggi or all adhesive bandages Band-Aid. The real ingredient behind the name is monosodium glutamate, or MSG for short. This is the compound that gives so many dishes that irresistible savory depth. So, calling all MSG Ajinomoto is a bit like calling every photocopy a Xerox, or every cola a Coke. It's a brand that became so popular, it turned into a household word. MSG itself is a simple combination of two things: sodium, which you know from table salt, and glutamate, an amino acid that your body naturally produces and uses every day. Glutamate isn't some rare or artificial chemical. It's vital for your metabolism and brain function, and it's found everywhere in nature. Tomatoes, cheese, mushrooms, and even your own body are packed with glutamate. But how does MSG get from nature to your kitchen? It's made through fermentation, a process humans have used for centuries to make foods like dahi, soy sauce, and vinegar. In modern production, bacteria ferment sugars from sources like sugarcane or corn. These bacteria naturally produce glutamate, which is then carefully purified and crystallized with sodium to create MSG. The result is a fine, white powder that doesn't have a strong taste on its own, but when added to food, it unlocks and enhances savory flavors in a way that's hard to replicate. MSG is the purest form of umami, the so-called fifth basic taste, joining sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. Umami is what makes broths rich, cheeses complex, and cooked meats mouth-watering. That's why MSG is a favorite in kitchens around the world. It makes soups richer, gravies deeper, and stir-fries more satisfying, all without overpowering the original flavors. Think of it as a tool for flavor, a way to bring out the best in your ingredients, not a mysterious chemical to be afraid of. When we understand what MSG really is, we can move past brand-based fears and start having real science-based conversations about food and health. Like any kitchen tool, MSG's value depends on how we use it. It's not about blind trust or fear, but about informed, balanced choices. MSG is a product of biochemistry, not black magic or marketing hype. It's a bridge between science and the art of cooking. So let's demystify MSG, appreciate its role in our food, and use it wisely, just like any other ingredient in our kitchens. MSG's story starts in Japan, not China. In 1908, Professor Kikunai Ikeda discovered the savory taste in kombu seaweed, umami. He isolated glutamic acid, stabilized it with sodium, and created MSG, Ikeda's invention was celebrated in Japan as a breakthrough in making food more delicious. He founded the Ajinomoto company to bring umami to home cooks. The term Chinese salt is a misnomer. MSG's roots are Japanese. Its association with Chinese cuisine came later, as Chinese American restaurants used it for deep, savory flavors. The negative connotation stuck, unfairly stigmatizing MSG. Understanding its true origin helps debunk the myths. MSG was born from scientific curiosity, not a sinister plot. MSG's reputation crashed in 1968 after a letter in a medical journal described symptoms after eating at Chinese restaurants. The media sensationalized Chinese restaurant syndrome, blaming MSG for headaches and numbness. Small, flawed studies followed, often using unrealistically high doses of MSG. But rigorous, double-blind studies found no consistent link between MSG and these symptoms. People who thought they were sensitive to MSG reported symptoms just as often after a placebo. The so-called syndrome is now considered outdated and rooted in cultural bias. The media's role in spreading fear was huge. Decades later, the myth persists, even though science has debunked it. MSG's bad reputation is a ghost of a 1960s media frenzy. Let's compare MSG to something we use daily: table salt. Toxicity is measured by LD50. The higher the number, the less toxic the substance. Table salt's LD50 is about 3,000 Sunsetgaudermannings. MSG's is 18,000 Bauatemgammersch. That means salt is about 6 times more toxic than MSG. MSG also contains only about 1/3 the sodium of table salt. Using MSG can help reduce overall sodium in your food, while boosting flavor. The fear of MSG, while we freely use salt, is irrational. Science shows MSG is less toxic and lower in sodium than salt. If you're not afraid of your salt shaker, you shouldn't fear MSG. MSG can actually be a hero for those looking to cut sodium. Our food choices should be based on facts, not fear. The numbers are clear: MSG is safe in normal use. Let's rethink the double standard. Here's a secret. You've eaten glutamate your whole life. Glutamate is a natural amino acid found in foods like tomatoes, cheese, mushrooms, peas, and even breast milk. That rich, savory taste in Rasam or aged cheese, it's glutamate at work. Mushrooms, green peas, corn, potatoes, meat, and fish are all loaded with natural glutamate. Human breast milk contains 10 times more free glutamate than cow's milk. Your body can't tell the difference between glutamate from MSG and glutamate from tomatoes. They're chemically identical. Fearing MSG's glutamate while loving tomato and cheese pizza is like fearing bottled water but drinking from a glass. The source doesn't matter. The molecule is the same. Nature itself has made glutamate a key part of our diet. The fear is about the label, not the science. Glutamate is everywhere, and it's delicious. MSG just gives you more of what you already love. If MSG is safe, why do some people feel unwell after eating out? The answer is usually the meal itself, loaded with salt, fat, and refined carbs, not MSG. Heavy, greasy restaurant meals can cause bloating, lethargy, and headaches. MSG becomes the scapegoat for these symptoms. There's also the nocebo effect. If you expect MSG to make you sick, you might feel sick just because you believe it. Studies show people report symptoms even when given a placebo. The real culprit is often overeating, not MSG. It's easier to blame Ajinomoto than admit to a heavy meal. The myth persists, but the science doesn't support it. What do food safety authorities say about MSG? India's FSSAI, the US FDA, the World Health Organization, and the European Food Safety Authority all agree. MSG is safe for the general population. MSG is classified as a flavor enhancer, with clear labeling rules. These organizations base their conclusions on decades of research, not anecdotes. Only a tiny fraction of people might have mild, short-term symptoms after consuming large amounts on an empty stomach. There's no evidence of long-term harm. MSG is one of the most studied food ingredients in history. The scientific consensus: MSG is safe in normal use. We've explored MSG's fascinating journey, its history, the chemistry behind its unique taste, and the persistent myths that have surrounded it for decades. From its origins in early 20th century Japan to its global spread, MSG has been at the center of both scientific curiosity and public debate. MSG is not a poison, nor is it some mysterious chemical. It's a fermentation product of a natural amino acid, glutamate, which is found in many foods we eat every day. The process is similar to how we make yogurt or soy sauce, using nature's own methods to create something delicious. Its discoverai by Dr. Kikunai Ikeda was a true scientific achievement, opening up a new world of flavor, umami. Rather than a culinary curse, it was a breakthrough that changed how we understand taste itself. The so-called Chinese restaurant syndrome was never backed by solid science. It was a myth, amplified by sensational media stories and cultural bias, which unfairly targeted Asian cuisine and fueled unnecessary fear. In reality, MSG is less toxic than table salt, and the glutamate it contains is chemically identical to the glutamate found in tomatoes, cheese, and even breast milk. Our bodies process it in exactly the same way. Food should be a source of joy, connection, and nourishment, not anxiety or guilt. Sharing a meal is about pleasure and togetherness, not fear. Used in moderation, MSG is a safe, effective way to enhance flavor and even reduce sodium in your meals. It's a tool that chefs and home cooks alike can use to make food more satisfying. Be a food skeptic. Ask for evidence, question the source, and don't let fear or marketing hype dictate your choices. Look for real science, not just headlines or hearsay. Remember, no MSG signs are about marketing, not science. They play on old fears rather than facts. Enjoy your food, consider the whole picture, and make informed decisions that work for you and your family. Don't let misinformation rob you of delicious experiences. MSG is just one of many tools in the kitchen for creating deliciousness, not a villain to be feared or avoided. So reclaim your plate, question the myths, and let your taste buds, not fear, be your guide. The joy of food is yours to rediscover.